Hello beautiful creative friends, it's Belinda and I'm back today with another project to share with you for the Confessions of a Paper Addict design team. Today I am working with one of the new release cut files for March. This is the Rainbow 3 cut file. You can see that I have already gone ahead and cut that out using some patterned paper and some glitter cardstock. Now because I am using this cut file quite small, I did have to manipulate the little foliage piece a little bit. I tried really hard to get my silhouette to cut it out, but it was just too fine to use with that beautiful glitter cardstock. So I played around with it just a little bit. So I've lost some of the finer details, but I'm still really happy with how it looks. And that's my message to you. If you are working with cut files, don't be afraid to manipulate them a little bit if you're just not able to get it to work for you. That's what they are there for. So off camera, I have already added some stitching. You can see I'm using an 8.5 by 11 page today. I've already added some stitching to the top and the bottom of that page. And then I have used this beautiful multicolored striped pattern paper just to add a border down the side. And then I've added some stitching to that as well. The collection that I'm using here today is from Cocoa Vanilla Studio. I'm pretty sure it's called Happy Days, which is the title of this layout. And because this month we are celebrating the Confessions of a Paper Addict 5th birthday, the design team have all come up with some really fun challenges. And the challenge that I have set for you is a 2-for-1 challenge, which is something that I love to do to save time in my scrapbooking. And it is basically just taking one cut file, creating a page, and then using that same cut file and the same design to replicate onto another page. So if you stick around to the end of this video, I will have some close-up photos of the second page that I created using the same cut file, the same design. I am using the same paper collection. It's just some slightly different color choices, and I also used a different photo on the other layout. So I had laid everything down already off camera and I had a pretty good idea of where things were going to go. What I really love about working in the 8.5 by 11 format is how quick and easy it is to put a page together. So this video is really nice and short and sweet because there isn't a whole lot of space on the page. Once you've added your cut file, you've added your photo, you've added your title and your journaling, there's really not a lot of wiggle room. So it's a really quick and easy way to put a page together. And I'm definitely going for a vertical design here. So having those border strips on either side of the layout really helps to reinforce that top to bottom movement down the page. This is documenting a story from summer. Last year, we got a new inflatable pool set up in our backyard, and although I was pretty hesitant about it to begin with because it is enormous, it turned out to be such a brilliant thing. The kids just absolutely loved it. So I wanted to add some pattern paper to the back of the photo. I had pulled that, it's sort of like a dark teal green floral, but it was just too dark for the page. So I pushed that to the side, went back through the A5 paper stack, and then found something that I was happier with. It has got some rainbows on the pattern paper and it's got some raindrops, but because you're only seeing just a little bit of it poking out behind the photo, you're not actually really seeing what the pattern is and noticing that it doesn't really fit with the theme of the layout too much. It's just adding some little pops of color around the photo. So because this is quite a simple, straightforward layout and I am working with that vertical design, I do want to really make sure that I've got things centered. So it takes me a little while to play around with this. The ruler was telling me that it was centered, but I was looking at it and it just didn't quite look right to me. So it may be that one of my little border strips is just slightly wider than the other. That could be what was throwing it off. But I decided to ditch the measurement and eyeball it, and I think it's pretty close. Now for the title, I did want to use the Happy Days title, which is the title of the collection, but the die cut that came in the collection was way too big for this page, and there was only one of them. So I grabbed out, this is an alphabet stamp and die set, which came from scrapbook.com. I love the font on this, and I have stamped it out with a dark sort of a navy blue ink, and then gone over the top of it with an iridescent embossing powder. It is such a pretty effect the way that it finishes out. And then to make it easy for me to have these letters nice and evenly spaced and straight, I'm using my mat to line them up. Then I grab a piece of washi tape, place that down over the top, flip it over, add some wet adhesive, and then lay it down. That's such a quick and easy way to make sure that my title is well placed. Because I have laid it over the top of the photo and there's a little bit of dimension underneath it, you did see me use some chipboard to just lift that photo up a little bit. I am adding just a little bit of foam tape behind the first and last letters of the title because they are sitting off the side of my photo, so they need to be lifted up a little bit. And while I am talking about dimension, although you can't really see it here, hopefully you will see it in some close-up photos, I have added some dimension to the rainbow elements in the cut file. So the two pieces that are cut from patterned paper, I actually went and cut them a couple more times from a nice thick white cardstock and layered them up, and that's given them a nice chunky dimensional effect. So my embellishing is really, really sweet and simple. I have got these little tag pieces, which is from a die set that comes from Uniquely Creative. They are absolutely perfect for me. I love using little tags in my layering elements, and this die just cuts the edges of them. So perfect for tucking in behind my photo. I've also used an L Studio stamp and die set, and I think it's a stamp set for an older summer themed stamp set from Kelly Stamps. So I've created those tags using inks that coordinate with the colors that are in this collection, and then I've stamped a sentiment, and then just to add a little bit of extra texture, once I have added the sentiments onto those tabs, I've also taken it over to my sewing machine and just run some stitching through the middle. It just helps to add a little bit of extra visual interest with that extra texture that the thread provides. So my journaling here, I actually typed up on my computer and printed out because I have the same set of journaling going on the two different layouts. One layout will go into my daughter's album, one layout will go into my son's album. So because I had the journaling exactly the same, it was easier to me to just type it up in Photoshop, print it out twice, and then cut it down into strips, and then lay that down on my layout. So you did see that I used my T-square ruler just when I was placing that first piece down to make sure that that's straight and relatively centered, and then after that I can just eyeball it. So to finish off, I'm going to take one of these pretty little enamel hearts. I'm just finding the center point here, and I'm going to pop that down the bottom so you can see now how that vertical design has come together. And because this is a water themed layout, I am finishing off with some Nuvo Jewel drops, and this is in the color Sea Breeze, which once they dry are absolutely perfect at replicating water dots. So that is it for the layout. You've got some close-up photos coming right now. I do hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd love for you to go ahead and leave me a comment or give me a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and join me on my upcoming paper crafting adventures. But I will leave it there for now and say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.